The McKenzie River is famous for a big, juicy caddis fly that comes off. A lot of good patterns. This is basically in the Stimulator style, but in McKenzie Caddis colors. So for the hook, I'm using a TMC 200R. I know the Daiichi makes a hook that is, the number is
1270.
1270. We're gonna check it out. It's a great hook. So I'm gonna start out here. Now, you know, some people put tails on these flies. Now I'm gonna slip. You know, I often use copper wire for a rib, but I know some people, in fact the producer of this video, who says, Jay, we don't use copper wire on our dry flies, we use mono. So this is 4X mono. It's going to be used to counter wrap the Hackle. So this is the McKenzie is the hairline. There's a hairline color that here it is. Don't go away. This is McKenzie Caddis Green. Not satisfied with taking things right out of the package. I take this and I blend it with a little bit of gray and a little bit of ice dub, and I make my own special dubbing color. We're going to spin a little bit of this on here. Then we're gonna, so this dubbing is only gonna go on the rear half of the hook, Stimulator style. Now you could tie an Elk Hair Caddis with this basic color scheme, and it would be just fine. Thank you very much. But the McKenzie Caddis is a long bug. So I like my fly to be on the long side. That's why I use the extra long hook. So I'm going to use a whiting 100. They come in packs like this. You buy one of those little packages and you can tie at least 100 dry flies.
Each one of these feathers has potential for 3 or 4 or even more flies there.
That is right, and we often over hackle our flies, but these are amazing. They hold good length. And I'm going to hackle this fairly heavily because I want this bug to push a lot of water. I want it to float high. I'm trying to get a hold of my mono to rib this. There we go. So every time that mono goes around there, it wraps right over the hackle and reinforces it. And again, I just snap that little feather off. I got a little bit of offending dubbing there that I took care of nicely. Let's talk about this wing. This is dark elk hair. I really like the elk. Deer hair works also. I'm going to stack this.
Like a really hollow fiber, whatever you're going to use.
Yeah, you want hollow. The deer hair is actually, it's a lot more difficult to work with than elk because it is a little bit more hollow. It flares more. The fish can chew it up a little bit more. See how nicely those ends stack up? One of the tricks here is going to be to not put too much wing in. So I think I've got a bit too much there, so I'm going to take about 1/3 of it out of there. Find my right size. I want it to come just about to the back edge of the hook. Now some people will tie this in first and then trim the edges. I like to trim it first because for me, I think it's more efficient. I think you get a better fly, and it saves you several minutes of trying to get all those wild hairs trimmed. So how do you keep this hair from rolling around the hook? You grasp it firmly, and you notice there's bare hook up there. That first wrap, there's no tension at all. Just barely enough tension to just hold it in place. Second turn. Now I'm still pinching that fur, that hair, and now I'm cinching. And if you can see, it'll start to flare a little bit, but I don't cinch any farther. Then I move. I'm still holding it, and then I move it forward, and I cinch a bit more, and forward, and cinch a bit more, and forward, and so on. All the time, I'm holding this very firmly. So I've actually got more tension up here than I do back there. So then I'll wrap around the front a little bit more, and then as I get back, I've got a little bit of a gap here between where the wing ends is tied in here and where the hackle starts. I'll wrap back there, but these are loose wraps because I don't really want to compress that hair very much. See how that lays kind of back there?
If you compress it too much, you're going to get tremendous flare.
You get that straight up and down, which
Right.
you're not looking for.
Right.
You're not looking for. You're not trying to achieve. So this is a bit of a snarl here. This is tied on a size 10 hook. This is a size 12 whiting grizzly. And since I got a lot of room, I got a fairly long, we don't want this to pull out. And again, very basics, the shiny side of the hackle is facing forward. Again, I'm not worried about all these little snarly pieces there because those are going to be covered by a contrasting dubbing, which is a blend of hairline, a rabbit, and a little bit of ice dub. And the ice dub, if you can see it, it really puts some sparkle into that. One of the important things, and I can put a nice little gob of cement on there, that'll help hold this dubbing. I want this head to taper from fairly thick by the wing to fairly slim by the head. And by the way, I spin that dubbing on by hand. So I wrap this right back over the base of the wing. And I'm wrapping it right tight together, and you know, here we go, my dubbing's getting a little bit loose, so I'll just twist it there, tighten it up. See how that's getting finer? I'm pulling a couple of extra hairs out of there. So then we're going to overwrap. So see, I have my taper. It worked out just right. Then I wind on my saddle hackle, and I can bring this quite close to the eye of the hook. This is a nice ring eye hook. And I've got my nice sharp scissors. Trim that, and I have one offending hackle there. Give myself a little whip finish there. So guess what? This fly doesn't only work on the McKenzie. There are a lot of places where you have grayish or greenish stoneflies in this size range. For the McKenzie, you want a size, probably not an 8, but some 8s, mostly 10s, some 12s. There you go.